How you doing, guys? It's 10 of midnight. Just got back from Rise of Skywalker. It's a pretty mixed bag. It's not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it definitely wasn't good. I mean, if The Force Awakens was 6.5 and The Last Jedi was like a 6.5 out of 10, Last Jedi was like a 2.5 out of 10, this was somewhere around a 5. Wasn't the worst one, but it sure as hell wasn't the best one. And it's pretty pathetic to me that The Force Awakens was the best out of the series, because this, to first avoid spoilers, I'll get into those in a minute. The general overall feeling was this was a literary mess. There was plot contrivances everywhere, plot holes, inconsistencies, Force kind of just doing whatever the plot needed it to do without making any sense compared to the prequel or original trilogy. Uh, just, I don't know how to say it, guys. It was not that good of a movie. JJ was trying to fix some of the stuff with The Last Jedi, and then there were just other things he just dialed up to 20, especially when it came to Rey. And then it wasn't that good of a movie. To put it best, I saw a quick thing by Yellow Flash. It was a lifeless hole parading itself around as Star Wars. JJ was not the man for this movie. In fact, he was not the man for this trilogy. And neither, of course, was Rian Johnson. I have come to the conclusion this entire trilogy should have been given to a single person, whether a producer or a director, and they had control from 7 to 9. Not this literary dysfunctional mess between 7, 8, and 9. We had no unifying vision, and that has been the Achilles heel of this trilogy. And it came home to roost at 9. JJ did what he could, but Rian Johnson's decisions just utterly buttfucked this series, pardon my language. But the sins of The Last Jedi and what they did in 8 have come home to roost, and 9 was trying to dig itself out of that and try to figure out somewhere to go. They're like I said, plot holes, inconsistencies, plot contrivances. I never felt any mortal danger for any of the major characters. Some of the major villains from 7 and 8 are completely cast. It's well, the only way I can get into it is go to spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, just click off. Okay. You can definitely tell it's been some time after The Last Jedi. I'm at least giving this 6 months to a year afterwards. Start out with Poe, Finn, Chewie on the Falcon trying to pick up some information from the spy, which, yes, it is General Hux. And to jump around on Hux, he gets killed so unceremoniously. He helps Poe, Finn, Rey, and Chewie escape on the Falcon, and he's trying to wheedle his way out of it to a general who apparently was over him that we've never seen up until now, who apparently served Palpatine. It's like, where the hell is this general? Who basically just turns around, shoots Hux, and kills him. It's like, yeah, we found a mole, and Hux is dead, gone. It's just like, this guy was the general from 7 and 8, and all of a sudden he's just killed unceremoniously, and you find out he wasn't even the top general. It's like, okay, let's make a massive dump on his character. Knights of Ren show up, they do a few things, they spend most of the movie trying to chase Rey until we get to Ben, and then Ben, he puts together his mask again for the Knights of Ren. It's make him scary and give him back his mask. He loses it. He wears it. He loses it again. He fights Rey on the Death Star. And then throws away his helmet and his lightsaber and becomes Ben again to eventually die. Yeah, it's... I'm sorry I'm jumping around here, guys, but it's just hard to pin this down. And the first 2 acts of this movie was... And... You know how dumb this movie was from minute 1? In the opening crawl, it confirms Palpatine is alive and he wants to take over the galaxy. And now everybody's trying to figure out how to get to Palpatine and get rid of him. How dumb this movie is. And it's a MacGuffin to get to Palpatine, which Kylo Ren first finds, gets to Palpatine, gets told, if you kill Rey, I'll make you the Emperor. I'll make you the Emperor and all this stuff. And then to Rey and all them to find the Emperor, it's to go get the same kind of MacGuffin that Kylo Ren got. Then it's to find a ship to get a MacGuffin. And then they have to. And then they find another MacGuffin, which is a knife, to go get the other MacGuffin. And C-3PO reads the thing. This is where he turns his head red because he can't say the Sith language for some reason. So they have to go to Slicer, who happens to meet one of Polt's old associates from when he was apparently a smite smuggler. So that's his backstory. And C-3PO reads it, gets a mind wipe. R2-D2 backs him up later in the movie. It's just nothing with consequences. And when they get to that ice planet, Chewie's been taken by the First Order, and they have to get another MacGuffin to go save Chewie, to get the knife back, to go to the Death Star. It's a literary mess. I mean, I know I'm jumping around, but that's just the utter mess of the narrative of this movie. It's start on MacGuffin, and the other side has to get a MacGuffin. And then they find another MacGuffin to get to that MacGuffin. But they have to decrypt C-3PO. And while they were trying to do all that, they lost Chewbacca to the First Order. Thought they killed Chewbacca. Rey figures that Chewbacca's still alive. And then they get another MacGuffin to go save Chewie. To get the knife. To go to Endor. To get the MacGuffin. And then when Rey finally gets the MacGuffin, Kylo Ren shows up. Destroys the MacGuffin. They have a fight. Rey stabs and almost kills him. Heals him. And oh yeah, by the way, Rey can apparently use Force Heal. I mean, that was another thing about this movie. It's like J.J. Abrams went through every Star Wars game and ripped off every Force power he can get his hands on, including Force Drain, Force Heal, Force Jumping. I mean, I'll give it to Rey on this, is that she had time to read those Jedi texts so she could learn stuff like Force Heal and other things like that, but it was just so much mystery box and MacGuffins, and it boggles my mind. Ugh. Then we gotta talk about Luke Skywalker, because he comes back as a Force ghost, of course. Rey, after stabbing Kylo Ren after Leia dies, heals him, feels like she's going to the dark side of the Force, because earlier in the movie, when she was who she thought was trying to save Chewbacca, used Force lightning and destroyed a transport. Yeah, that happened. She goes to Ahch-To, stealing Kylo Ren's fighter. Goes off to Ahch-To to pull Luke Skywalker. She's burning Kylo Ren. That's where we get that scene. And she throws Luke Skywalker's lightsaber into the fire. Luke, as a Force ghost, catches the lightsaber, walks it back to her. It's like, need to treat this a little more respect. And I'm like, that's bold talk for you, Luke Skywalker. Bold talk for you, considering the last movie, and I think that's JJ's 10th course correct. Luke talks her into going that, and then he shows her where Leia's old saber is, and you actually see a training sequence where Leia kicks his ass. But they did a really good job of de-aging Luke and Leia, or they probably using body doubles and, put their faces on. And another thing I was wondering is, where is Luke's green lightsaber? I know it's on that damn island. What, did you just leave it there? I guess. And Luke also force lifts, a la looking like Yoda, as a Force ghost, force lifts his X-Wing Red 5 out of the water, puts it down, and apparently it works after God knows, 40 years in the water? It works just fine. I'm like, so Luke could have left any time he wanted, he just didn't. It's just, ugh. The plot holes contriving. Like, if you want a better breakdown, I suggest you go watch Shadversity's movie on this, because I'm jumping around all over the place. I know, guys, it's midnight now, and I'm just I barely even understood the narrative of this damn movie. I'm so freaking lost. But anyways. Ugh. And yes, the whole scene where Rey uses both lightsabers and turns the Force lightning back on Palpatine and kills him is completely true. And the only thing I'm sitting there wondering was, okay, so you're pissing on Mace Windu also, because why didn't this kill Palpatine? I guess he just didn't have his Force lightning on full blast. Oh, and Palpatine does full Force drain and regains his vitality. It's never really explained how Palpatine survived, by the way. He just did. I'm guessing he inhabited a new clone. It degraded his clone, kind of like the Dark Horse comic. And near the end of the movie, he Force drains both Ben, who's now given up being Kylo after talking to his dad through a memory. Like I said, most of 99% of the leaks were true. It was just bad. I mean, it wasn't the most terrible thing I've ever seen, but it wasn't great either. Like I said, about a 4 or 5 out of 10. Wasn't as bad as The Last Jedi, but it was a fuster cluck. And of course, Reylo shippers got their wish because they have a passionate kiss right before Ben dies. And then he Force evaporates. Like 10 seconds after he's dead, he disappears out of his clothes. It's just like, well, damn, son. What did you do to deserve? Oh, and on top of Hux just being unceremoniously killed, Ben takes out all the Knights of Ren when he decides he wants to be a savior again, be a Jedi. Rey and Kylo Ren now can Force transmit items through their link because Rey is standing there right before the whole takedown of Palpatine. Like she's going to strike him down. She reaches behind her and drops the Luke Skywalker lightsaber, which Kylo Ren catches and then uses to kick the crap out of all the Knights of Ren. He kills them all, just annihilates them. And then Rey pulls out Leia's lightsaber and begins to kick ass of all the guards around Palpatine. Like I said, it's... I'm trying just to remember it all, and I know I'm jumbling around all over the place. I'll do a little bit better job tomorrow, but I just had to get my first thoughts out, and it's a literary mess. The battle scene out in the atmosphere of Exokar, or whatever the hell they are, that Sith world, was dumb. Oh my god, was it bad. It looked flashy, but there was really nothing there. The excuses of why the fleet couldn't leave was stupid. And after they destroy Palpatine's fleet, you see all these First Order Star Destroyers just falling out of the sky in different places, like Bespin, Jakku, and it's like, why would they be falling out of the sky unless someone attacked them? And I don't see anything attacking them. JJ was, again, throwing... this movie, besides being plot contrivance, can be laid out as J.J. Abrams taking his mystery box, chucking everything at the wall and seeing what stuck, while trying to play on nostalgia hard. And it didn't work all that well. I didn't understand the game references from Scott Mendelson. It just wasn't that good. JJ, you missed the mark. I mean, I'd really have to watch the movie again to get all the plot contrivances written down, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever remember this sequel trilogy. It wasn't that good. All of the things that were set up were just so bad. And then there's this one thing with Finn. It's like, I wanted to tell Rey something, and they go through it, and then he never says what he wanted to tell Rey. And it's like, why set that up if you don't pay it off? That was dumb. And of course, you got the whole I'm Rey Skywalker after she buries Luke and Leia's lightsaber, and for some reason, she is the first person in Star Wars canon to have a yellow lightsaber. I don't know why. I don't know what it signifies, but she has one, and she has the Falcon, and it's just... JJ was just trying to tie it off, and he butchered the landing. He did not hit that mark. The ending fight between Rey and Palpatine sucked. The final fight over Exo, wherever the hell that planet was, sucked. The chase scene on that desert planet sucked. Rey using force powers like force heal sucked. It was meant to look good, but the execution just wasn't there. It sucked. Like I said, about 5 out of 10. Wasn't that good. But the only things that made me feel anything is when Leia died and Chewie found out, and him crying and roaring and just losing it. Oh, and when Gentili showed up in the Falcon as a gunner for about 5 seconds. Thanks. It's just like, well, why even bother? This movie also felt completely rushed. Like it should have been 2 movies. It's one of those times where they actually should have split the movie into 2. Just so it could tell the story it needed to tell instead of trying to cram it all into one. But anyways, that's my jumbled thoughts. I'm not going back, and I'll be shocked this movie. Oh, and I know Doomcock wanted to know this, and I should have grabbed pictures, and I didn't. But I was in a theater. Oh, and I saw it in 3D too. I didn't even know I was seeing it in 3D because the AMC stubs list. It didn't really change anything. It did not really make me. It didn't look any better if I'd probably seen it not in 3D. Didn't freaking care. But overall, I was in a theater of about 120 people. I think that theater had about, including me, 25. Wasn't that many people in there. Right, it was a 9 o'clock showing. But still, there was not that many people in that theater. This movie breaks $1 billion, I'll be shocked. Because that's opening night for a Star Wars movie, and there are that few people in there. I know I'm living in Columbus, Indiana, but come on. You're telling me you couldn't fill a theater of 120 people 2 days after it opened? Really? Yeah. Anyways, those are my general thoughts, jumbled as they are. I know I was nowhere even close to just going down and breaking down literally. I'll see if I can think that straight tomorrow, but just did not like this movie. Not at all. No, at least not that much. I mean, like I said, it was better than The Last Jedi, but that ain't saying much. But this movie was pretty much a train wreck. I'm glad I went in with my expectations down towards the bottom because it kind of dragged into the basement. Like I said, better than The Last Jedi, but Force Awakens was still better in this movie, and that's pretty pathetic. AJ, you did not stick this landing. It was not that good. I can't honestly recommend it, but I had to see that morbid curiosity of how bad is this going to be, and like I said, the plot leaks were pretty much right. There's just so much. Like I said, go look up Shadiversity. He spent about an hour tearing this movie apart, and he does it better than me. Because I wish I had notes. But it's just so much plot contrivance. So much plot contrivance. Oh, it hurts my head how much plot contrivance is there. One more thing that I have to because of Signal's intelligence background. The signal tower thing. Why? It was so dumb. You're telling me that signal tower couldn't broadcast the coordinates to get out of that storm to all ships at once? And then once it went down, they switched it up to the command ship. It couldn't broadcast it all at once. It had to. It made no sense. Hell, let's go with other things that didn't make sense. The ship they found in the goddamn desert made no sense. Absolutely zero. So much of that movie did not make sense. Or at least, I don't understand why. Oh, and the LGBT kiss. You know that one colonel that was Holdo's executive officer? They're having their celebration. She suddenly kisses another woman. It's just like, so what? What the hell was that there for? It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. So freaking what? Anyways, that was it. It didn't make me feel anything. I mean, I think I shuddered and had goosebumps, but more because I think I was cold in that theater more than I was just like, I want to feel stuff. The music makes me want to feel stuff. I felt bad for Chewie, but other than that, I didn't feel anything. Just didn't care. JJ, you failed. And Johnson, you fucked this trilogy up. That's all I can say about this trilogy. Star Wars The Mandalorian, it is the way now. That's about it, guys. Anyways, I'm Jeff. I'm going to bed. I'm out.